Hello, my name is Phillip Horner. I am a therapist here in Boulder, Colorado, and also the founder and director of Whole Connection. In this video, I'm going to share with you a bit about how I work and how I start off. So let's jump in. My initial starting point with anyone is to do a phone call. I find this really important just to get a sense of what a person is looking for and what their needs might look like. And also give some space for them to ask me some questions. I imagine any person looking for a therapist has different needs and wants, and I want to make sure that I am maybe the right therapist for them, or maybe I'll know someone better to fit them. And so it's usually a brief 15 or so minutes that I'll share about my own approach, but also some of the difficulties the person might be having. Share with you some about my approach. I work from an attachment and relational standpoint. And so what that means is I really center the relationship of our work on us and also on other relationships in your life. And many of us have different attachment patterns, and I use those as a way to understand better what might be happening in some of those difficult relationships in your life. But I also use our relationship, as I believe the relationship with your therapist is really important and sometimes reflects those other intimate relationships in your life. So I give it a chance for us to understand. And that means us understanding how it feels to be in session, but also as I share things or I say things, what that might be like with you. I also am a psychodynamic therapist. And to make that simple, what that basically means is I look backwards in your history and time to understand some of the roots and behaviors to what might have been formed and are part of you now. I also put a lot of emphasis on identity. So this identity could be about who you are culturally. It could be about racially. It could be religion, gender, sexuality. All these aspects are a really important part of who you are. And so I give space for that and also talk about that impact between us too and how that might impact us. And the last theory I like to use that I think is really helpful on us trying to shift and change patterns in our lives is internal family systems, or IFS. I look at past behaviors, as I explained with psychodynamics, as a way to understand why some things have been or things we already know about ourselves. But I also wonder is it possible for us to learn new things so that we're not stuck saying, well, I'm this way because of, and instead we're allowing new opportunities to exist. IFS also looks a lot at parts work. And so I look at different parts of people and what does it communicate, that part? What does it communicate to us? What is it trying to tell us? And allowing that to help us work through things. So I'll share bits and pieces of this depending on what a person might want and in the phone call. And then I also ask if they want to go over costs and insurance. I don't take insurance currently. I write super bills for people. And if my sliding fee doesn't work for people, I do supervise others that work here, and sometimes they might be able to slide their fee lower, and I also supervise them, so in doing so, a lot of times they work similarly to myself. Now, at the end of the phone call, if it feels like a good fit, I might even ask someone if they would like to continue and set up an initial appointment, and I think of that first session, if they choose to make one, as a time that we're still getting to know each other. A phone call is just a brief conversation. And so in that initial session, I think of it as a time that I try and bridge a connection and create a sense of some safety and some desire and something that you would want to be in. And I ask more questions. But in that too, I give chances for people to ask me questions about myself, but also about my approach and on. And by the end of it, we feel like this is a good connection. This feels like something you want to continue. I do charge for that session. But if you feel like by the end of it, this isn't the right fit, then I'm very happy to try and send you some referrals. And also, I don't charge for it. It's just a great chance to get to know someone. I think it was kind of like a consultation in that aspect. Now, after we have had that initial session and we feel that good connection, I do a full intake. I want to get to know this person that's coming in. And I want to get an insight of their background, their family, their histories, why they're even coming to see me, a more detailed version. I think this is really important when we're doing attachment work, and particularly from the psychodynamic frame, to understanding you and what has been. Not what has to be, but what has been so far. It really helps me find those pieces and what might be important to come back to. In this also, we might be trying to set some goals that you want to achieve. And that we might even have an idea of how long we think, when should we come back and reflect on this? How have we done? And so thinking about that time frame, I really do, it depends on the type of work, but I really do think it's important that we come back and check in on how we're doing with those initial reasons to come in. Maybe new reasons have come, and we want to revisit what we're doing. And when I'm doing attachment and relational work with people, I do think that takes more time as we are investigating present stories, the relationship I have with the person, and possibly group work too. I didn't mention, but I run a lot of groups, and I call them relationship groups, although it does not mean you need to be in a relationship. It means that that's a big focus of the group, is we are centering on thinking about the relationships in our lives and in the group. So just like I explained that the relationship between myself and my client is really important to understanding them and us, but also their relationships outside. Group therapy is very similar, where we form relationships with people in the group, and it gives us chances to work through past difficulties, past behaviors, and also current struggles that might be really good for us to learn from. Sometimes if people are coming in for more things like anxiety or depression, those could be more limited time. You could be going through a depressive spot and need a therapist at a time, and so we really try and visit and see how we're doing there, and if we want to continue, or maybe we want to break afterwards. I hope this gives you a bit of a perspective of what beginnings with me can look like, how I work, and I really encourage you, if you have any questions for me, or if you want to work with me, please send me an email. It's Phillip with 2 L's, Horner, Horner, @wholeconnection.org. Again, it's great to take some time with you, and I hope this helps out. Thank you.